The name Ethiopia is the name of the winners, a symbol of freedom. Whenever there is war, Ethiopians always come out victoriously. Welcome to Ethiopia Today. Our today's presentation focuses on the current Ethiopia's war. We invite you to stay tuned and follow till the end of our presentation. Like and share the video and support the channel so that we reach out to more audience as much we can. If you are visiting for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Then you won't miss out very important and the exciting videos we bring to you. Let's get into the presentation. Outside support is the cause of TPLF's resumption of war, according to scholars. Terrorist TPLF waged the ongoing war because of outside signal of support coming from the region and internationally, according to the American political and economic analyst Lawrence Freeman. It is to be recalled that the terrorist TPLF launched offensive on the Eastern Front at Baisoba, Zobel, and Tekolesh for another round of devastating war. Approached by INA, Lawrence Freeman said TPLF would not be so bold to launch a new round of war unless the group has some kind of signal of support coming from outside Ethiopia. There is outside support coming from the region and internationally, as well as signals by these external factors to the rebel group to launch offensive, he added. The analyst is also convinced that there are conversations going on with the TPLF to permanently destabilize Ethiopia. I am convinced 100% that the TPLF leaders would not be so bold to launch a new round of warfare which they're going to lose and result in more destruction. They would not launch this effort. They have some kind of signal of support coming from outside Ethiopia, and this is very dangerous, Freeman elaborated. The analyst called on nations who claim to support democracy in Africa to come out now and clearly and vocally denounce any war on the elected government of Ethiopia. In fact, they're not doing that, which is very troubling and suspicious to me. Explaining the support of outsiders to TPLF, Freeman said that there was a plane traveling into Tigray which was not authorized by Ethiopian airspace. The plane transporting weapons to the terrorist TPLF is the property of Ethiopia's historical enemies and was shot down by the heroic Air Force for violating the country's airspace. For Freeman, this clearly indicates that there is a desire of outside forces encouraging TPLF to continue the conflict intended to weaken the central government of Ethiopia. I do know that you wouldn't have a resumption of armed conflict unless the TPLF believes and has substantial basis for this belief that they would get support from their actions. I don't believe they would take this kind of aggressive action which will be defeated unless they had a strong indication of support from outside Ethiopia. The motives are essentially in the long term making sure that Ethiopia is weakened and destabilized by ethnicity, the analyst underscored. The destabilization efforts against Ethiopia have a geopolitical aim, and there are forces that want a government they can manipulate and take orders from. They don't believe that Ethiopia should be one united nation, and they support ethnicity and the activities either directly or indirectly of the TPLF to launch and continue its war to weaken the government of Ethiopia, Freeman noted. The analyst also called on the international community and nation-states of the world to come out and call for the disarming of the TPLF. The larger question is why the TPLF is still armed. This is a dangerous situation and unacceptable to any nation-state for allowing a rebel group like TPLF to attack the national government. He insisted that nations of the world should come in and support the elected government of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed by saying, "We will not tolerate armed rebel groups attacking an elected government." Andrew also shares the Freeman's argument. According to him, TPLF and its supporters are the only one to blame for breaking the humanitarian truce. It concisely explained the background leading up to the TPLF unilaterally breaking the humanitarian truce from 5 months ago and poignantly concluded that calling on both sides to end the conflict denies the reality. Pushing false equivalents like this on peace-seeking and war-waging parties is nothing more than information warfare designed to mislead the audience. The federal government of Abiy is internationally recognized democratically elected by sovereign nation, while TPLF is designated terrorist organization. The purpose behind the disinformation propaganda campaign is to artificially manufacture widespread support for their plot to meddle in the African Union-led peace process. The Ethiopian federal government and the continental body both rejected the conspiracy to replace the AU by Western-led alternatives. That was the final straw for the US and Egypt, which realized that their TPLF-driven hybrid war of terror on Ethiopia stood no chance of tangibly achieving any of its objectives unless their proxies resumed hostilities in a desperate last-ditch attempt to coerce unilateral concessions from Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's multipolar government, according to political analyst Andrew. To that end, they're attempting to put pressure on it through the disinformation warfare campaign connected to the false equivalence between the terrorist-designated TPLF and the central authorities, which requires another round of fighting in order to create the so-called publicly plausible pretext for manipulating the foreign audience. Wider awareness of this pernicious information warfare plot will inevitably reduce the chances that it'll succeed in taking advantage of well-intended but naive people's humanitarian concerns, which will in turn throw a wrench in those terrorist backers' scheme to artificially manufacture support for hijacking the AU-led peace process. Similarly, the international community urged to condemn the terrorist TPLF using of children as cannon fodder. The Biden administration once again silenced itself as TPLF sending child soldiers and using human waves and shields in its terrorist war on Ethiopia, California-based political scholar Professor Alemayehu G Mariam says. The terrorist TPLF has been forcefully conscripting the youth in Tigray and using children as cannon fodder. The international community, including the US, must condemn the group's such action. Geba Mariam tweeted that the Biden administration is quiet as TPLF sends child soldiers and uses human waves and shields in its terrorist war on Ethiopia. Ambassador and permanent representative of Ethiopia to the United Nations, Taye Atske-Selassie, has also urged all to condemn the recruitment and use of children for war by TPLF. Anyone that truly cares about children must condemn the recruitment and use of children in human wave strategy by terrorist TPLF, the ambassador tweeted. Government Communications Service said in a statement on Saturday that following the outdated human wave warfare strategy, TPLF has continued its large-scale attacks on civilians, sending youth in large numbers to bordering communities. The regional states of Amhara and Afar have also called on the international community to condemn TPLF's attacks on people in the regions. Finally, Uganda is said to be distancing itself from TPLF according to the recent development. Uganda's Commander of Land Forces Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Yoweri Museveni's son, travelled Addis Ababa to meet Prime Minister Abiy last week. He had irked the Ethiopian government when he sent out a series of tweets as his backing of the terrorist TPLF after the conflict started between the two sides. According to the recently revealed intelligence report by Scoop, Lieutenant General Muhoozi referred as the main man for coordinating the US-Egypt-backed TPLF military training operation in Uganda against Ethiopia. He is also expected to take over the presidential office after his father's retirement. Lieutenant General Muhoozi had a meeting with Abiy, and also had a chance to visit Ethiopian Grand Renaissance Dam Gerd, and meet with Ethiopia's military chiefs in Addis Ababa during his stay in Ethiopia. He said that the people there had received him with love and kindness. This morning our delegation had very good and fruitful discussions with our brother Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia. We believe in African solutions to African problems. I'm optimistic about a resolution of the Ethiopian conflict. God bless Africa, he tweeted last Thursday. His trip also took him to Ethiopia's Air Force headquarters, military intelligence and police headquarters, where he and his delegation had productive discussions with management respective facilities, according to a statement by Uganda's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Lieutenant General Muhoozi's visit came after Ethiopia's ambassador to Uganda Alemayehu G met President Yoweri Museveni at State House Entebbe on August 3, during which the Tigray conflict was discussed. Having already overcome multifaceted obstacles so far, the country is rising and on its final juncture. The name Ethiopia is the name of the winners, a symbol of freedom. Whenever there is war, Ethiopians always come out victoriously. The solution for the problem of Ethiopia is within Ethiopians themselves. No outside solution can fit. Unity for Ethiopia is a milestone for this very reason. Unity for Ethiopia. Ethiopia prevails. Thanks for staying with us. Don't forget to like, share, post your comments, and subscribe to our channel. These are the ways you can support Ethiopia Today Official to continue producing this and similar content. May God bless Ethiopia and its people. Thanks again.